Blue Beetle, August 18th, only in theaters, is the newest movie from DC Comics, and I gotta be honest with you guys, I didn't really expect much of this one at the beginning. When the first trailer came out, I really thought it looked like the most generic movie, a superhero movie that I've ever seen. And considering DC's recent streak of movies that have not either been commercially or critically successful, for example, Black Adam, I thought it was okay, but it didn't do that good. For example, Flash, but didn't even do good, and it's also one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
I have powers now? You can throw it. Yes, I've done it many times myself. I know sex exists. I've just never experienced it.
I honestly didn't have many expectations for Blue Beetle. I didn't really know much about the character from before, but I was willing to give it a chance because in the end, I really like the main actor, Xolo Maridueña. I've followed him for a while on social media. He seems like a great guy. And I also love like the passion like a lot of the actors and crew have put on the project, especially since the whole SAG-AFTRA strikes have been going on. There's been a really big mess in Hollywood for the last couple months. They had to pause the whole marketing campaign for this movie. There was like a bunch of drama related to the release of the movie. And honestly, I really thought the movie was fun in the end. Like I went to see it without expectations and I came out of the movie so surprised. I honestly was so wrong about Blue Beetle from the beginning. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's one of the best like DC movies in a while, like discounting the Batman movie, which I thought was amazing, Joker obviously, but those are considered like separate things, like DC Elseworlds. But this is kind of like the first DCEU movie. I don't even know what's going on there, but it's kind of connected to either one of those two universes that actually made me enjoy it and made me want to see more of this character and more of the future of, you know, like DC and whatever they're trying to do in the future. I really hope this character connects with like the new Superman, the new Batman, everything they're trying to do, because I think it is really worth it, and it really shows that there's not a problem with superhero movies, superhero fatigue. It's just like bad movies and like really shitty universe building that has been going on in DC for a while. And this movie is a proof that if people have passion, if like directors and actors and everybody else puts a lot of passion behind the movie, that a lot of great things can happen. So anyways, what is Blue Beetle actually about? So the movie follows Jaime Reyes, which is a superhero who becomes Blue Beetle against his will. He's kind of like this guy who comes from a very united family, and he wants to go ahead. He wants to help his family. He wants to get a job, and it shows a lot of really important topics in the movie. I really enjoyed like the themes, for example, family, responsibility, a lot of different things that really make the movie like full of life. It feels like a movie that it's actually made by human beings, like compared to other recent blunders we've had in the past with DC and just superhero movies in general. This one actually feels like it has a lot of passion and a lot of that amazing like energy infused into it. And a big part of that energy is the Mexican / Latino culture that is in the movie. This movie focuses a lot on Jaime as an actual Mexican superhero. I really enjoy like the way they show how his family is, like how the culture, and it's something that I really like about living in Mexico. As a Mexican myself, I really enjoy all the themes in the movie, like the energy behind the family, the like how united they are, and it's full of so many like references and just like stuff that as a Mexican I was really amazed, and really it really feels like a movie that is a love letter to Mexican culture, and that's something I really enjoyed. Like even like a bag of Takis in the background of, you know, the house. Like small things like that really make this movie feel like it was actually made by somebody who understands Mexican culture and like Latino culture, and really shows in the movie. And there's a lot of really funny scenes, especially in a scene where Jaime teaches the Blue Beetle AI to like a lot of Mexican slang, and it leads to some really funny scenes. If you're Mexican, you're gonna enjoy this movie 10 times as much, but if like it can be enjoyed by everybody. But you know, I like for somebody from Mexico, I really like that stuff in the movie. And I gotta admit, the plot itself follows like the typical generic superhero movie adventure stuff, like evil corporate CEO who's evil for the sake of evil and produces like these mechanical monsters that like trying to harness the power of the Blue Beetle. And she has like this henchman who like works for her against his will, who's kind of like this morally gray character, and Jaime has to battle him. There's a lot of really fun scenes, and honestly I feel like the generic superhero story is not that bad considering like all the positives in the movie. I feel like, for example, Jaime's personality, the side characters, how amazing they are. Seriously, like the family I think is one of the best parts of the movie, and just the way they all interact with each other and have a really amazing chemistry. I feel like it's the highlight of the movie, and all of the generic superhero stuff that we've seen a million times is kind of like only there in the background. So that's something I really enjoyed about the movie, and also because of how much the side characters are fleshed out. Even the villain at the end, it gets like a really interesting backstory that lasts for a minute, but also serves to humanize the character. And I think like in the end that like if there's something to take about this review is that I really enjoyed the warmth of Blue Beetle. I feel like the movie has a lot of warmth, it has a lot of personality, and that like benefits the movie so much. Like I said before, it's a movie that actually feels made by a human being, and people who made a movie because they thought it was going to be an amazing like story, even though it's like attached to the superhero stuff. But yeah, I think it was a really fun time. Also, the movie's just plain fun. Like, I feel like if you just go to a movie theater to have a good time, you're gonna enjoy Blue Beetle. And honestly, I just think it's a really shame like how bad it opened in this weekend. I feel like people are kind of like, it's a mix of superhero fatigue and also like a lot of the other stuff that's been going on. People are like confused with DC Comics, like what the hell they're doing with their universe, like DCEU. It's overall very confusing to the average person, and even people who don't even follow comics, people who follow these stories. But like a lot of people didn't even know this movie was coming out. But I gotta say, like, it's really worth a shot. I feel like it's one of the best DC movies in recent memory. And yeah, I urge people to go see Blue Beetle August 18th, only in theaters. And yeah, those are pretty much all my thoughts. I'm gonna give it a 78 out of 100. I really enjoyed the movie. I think it's very, very amazing. It has like, it falls into a lot of generic superhero stuff at several points, but it's not really that much of a distraction. I feel like a lot of the topics, especially if you live in Mexico, you will enjoy a lot of the dialogue and a lot of the characters that happen and like a lot of the things that happen in the movie. So yeah, those are pretty much most of my thoughts. Blue Beetle is a great movie, and yeah, that's pretty much it for today. So see you guys later and have an amazing day.